In today's video, we'll be looking at an email that many PlayStation Network users are getting. If you own a PlayStation VR, you might have access to a $10 off coupon to anything on the PlayStation Store. Also, for those of you worried about the fact that Blu-ray discs are only 50 gigabytes, well, for the PlayStation 5, it'll probably be remedied, as Sony is soon releasing the 4x layered 128 gigabyte Blu-ray discs, and if those are utilized, that'll allow for a lot more storage space, and this is very relevant right now with games like Red Dead Redemption 2 being incredibly huge in terms of file size. Also, there's been a lot of uncertainty regarding The Walking Dead, the final season. We do know it's been picked up by Skybound Games and it will see a conclusion, but it does look like there's a chance that the third episode of The Walking Dead, the final season, might be out before 2018 concludes. Also, Subnautica is one of the best survival games that's available on PC right now. It is coming to the PlayStation 4, and now we have an idea of when it will be coming. Also, I want to give you guys some information about Catherine Full Body Edition, as that is coming to the PlayStation 4 in 2019. Catherine was a very well-received game. Wouldn't say it was really underrated, as a game like this already attracted a niche audience, and it seemed to actually do better than I think a lot of people expected. Of course, not as big as some of the biggest games released, but it was a very quirky game that I enjoyed, so I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the video. First, PlayStation VR owners, check your email tied to your PlayStation Network account, as many PSN users are getting a $10 off coupon for your next PlayStation Store purchase. This comes directly in your email, and it's to celebrate the second anniversary of PlayStation VR. Of course, the unit released 2 years ago, and it seems very timely that they are giving a $10 off coupon. Now, that will be active until October 23rd, so you don't have a ton of time to utilize it, but there are a bunch of sales going on over at the PlayStation Store, and again, an additional $10 off your purchase. That is definitely very nice. As always with these emails, it looks like it's only being sent out to certain users, and some people are already very upset that some users get it, some users don't. It looks like it's completely random. There seems to be no general basis as to who gets these emails. There are people that have been buying PlayStation products for years on years. Maybe they've been buying games digitally since the PlayStation 4 has been released, and they don't even get the code. So I don't get how Sony goes about choosing people who get this email, but check your email nonetheless. You might have a code to take advantage of. Moving on from that, a tweet from Super Metal Dave 64 kind of sheds light about a worry that many gamers have regarding Blu-ray discs and how that's going to be impacted with next generation games. Of course, games are getting bigger and bigger. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the biggest games that we've ever seen, and it is already capping out Blu-ray discs. It does look like that game will be shipped on 2 separate discs. However, this worry should subside by the time the PlayStation 5 releases, because as Super Metal Dave 64 said on Twitter, quote, people were getting concerned about 50 gigabyte game discs not being big enough for next gen lately, while Sony is releasing the 4X layered 120 gigabyte Blu-rays on November 10th. That should be fine for 2020 on PS5 if they don't just go all digital. I don't believe they're going all digital. I think the timing is a little bit too soon on that. I think with the PlayStation 6 that might become more of a reality, but even then, there are just some people that want all their games physically, and there are some people that just can't download these gigantic games. Even with a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, they're giving you a week to preload the game, and in my recollection, that's the longest I've seen a game being able to be preloaded prior to its release, and it's the fact because it's such a huge game. Well, if games are getting bigger and bigger and internet speeds aren't getting better in a comparable rate, well, who's gonna download, you know, a 150, 200 gigabyte game? That's just gonna be absolutely ridiculous to download. I think there are some people that are just gonna want a physical copy, so the 4X layered 120 gigabyte Blu-ray, that should help out. But I don't see it being long until games lap even 128 gigabytes. I see games just getting bigger and bigger, and yes, while Red Dead Redemption 2 is, what, 90 gigabytes? What does it mean for Grand Theft Auto 6 or Red Dead Redemption 3? I know we're a far ways out from those games, but it's still something to know when you think about next generation. Moving on from that, there was a lot of uncertainty regarding The Walking Dead, the final season. We do know that Skybound Games has picked it up, and it will be seeing a conclusion. That is great to hear. That was already fantastic news, because if Clementine's story wasn't wrapped up, that would have made so many people upset. Telltale Games really blew up after the release of The Walking Dead, and so many people jumped on board with that, and it's a completely story-driven experience. So to go on that ride for over half a decade but not see a legitimate conclusion, that would have been absolutely horrible. But thanks to Skybound Games, that will not be the case, and it looks like the third episode of The Walking Dead, the final season, might be out before 2018 is over. He mentioned in a Reddit AMA that it's, quote, nearly impossible to give an accurate answer on the release date. However, he also did mention he fully expects the third episode to release by the end of 2018, and and he would be very disappointed if it should not be released by the end of 2018. That came directly from CEO of Skybound Games and Ian Howe. And if you guys don't know, The Walking Dead, the final season, is only set to be 4 episodes long. The previous seasons were 5 episodes, so they should be able to wrap this up by early 2019. That should be the hope. But honestly, for the fact being that for a little while we didn't even know if this season was going to see a definitive conclusion, I'm happy whenever we get the 3rd episode. It could be by the end of 2018, 2019, whenever, as long as it does see a definitive conclusion with the original intent that Telltale Games had in mind. That really should be the main concern right now. Moving on from that, we've seen a lot of fantastic survival games see a release on the PlayStation 4, but one that everyone loves that hasn't seen a release on the PS4 yet is Subnautica. However, Subnautica creator Charlie Cleveland took to Twitter and announced that, quote, the Subnautica team along with Gearbox Official and Panic Button Game are hard at work at polishing up the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions of the game. In early December, it will be in stores and available on both systems. Exact date is coming soon. If you don't know, Subnautica is an underwater survival game, so it already has a little bit of a twist compared to all of the other survival games, and on PC, this is one of the best received survival games that you're gonna come across, so it'll be great to see it coming over to the PlayStation 4. This has been announced for quite a while, but good to see it finally come to fruition and have a release on PlayStation 4, and it's coming before the year's out, so that's great.
This is Altera HQ. This may be your only communications window. We can't send a rescue ship all the way out there, so Aurora, you're just gonna have to meet us halfway.
Scans indicate this location supports a diverse and healthy ecosystem. Primary directive to keep you alive. Utilizing alien resources is a proven survival strategy. Explore, study, catalog new species, secure food and energy, and gather data on unusual phenomena. 10 seconds of oxygen remaining. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
We shouldn't have gone so deep.
And lastly, I do want to talk a little bit about Catherine Full Body Edition, as we have gotten some details on that. Now, if you guys don't know, Catherine was a game published by Atlas back on last generation platforms. It was a really quirky game, part dating sim, part puzzle game, a lot of decisions to be made, and just a great story all around. And with Catherine Full Body Edition, it'll feature a safety difficulty, and that'll make it so if you just want to experience the story of the game, you can do so. Now, I didn't think the puzzles in the game were all too difficult, especially if you did play the game on easy. The game was rather easy. However, if you just want to go in and experience the story, you can now do so in Catherine Full Body Edition. And if you don't know, in Catherine Full Body Edition, they are adding another route, so this is just not your typical remaster. This is almost a new game. While it contains everything from the original title, it contains a sizable amount of extra content as well. So if you played the original Catherine back on the PlayStation 3 and you just saw this and you're like, there's no reason to go back and play Full Body Edition, I would say change your tune on that, because Catherine Full Body Edition could be seen as another game altogether. Because I think to many, Catherine Full Body Edition could be seen as a new game altogether.
気づけるっていうかさ、新しい価値観っての？この光景、夢に出てきそうだ。
また彼らは登ってゆくのね。あのピアノはミスター・モーガンを祝福してくれるのかしら？
今時のこの恋愛はどこまでもフリーダムなんですかね。
でも本当にこれでいいのか？
And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, check your email account that's tied to your PlayStation Network account, and if you have PlayStation VR, you might have a $10 off coupon for your next PlayStation Store purchase. Sony will soon be releasing the 4X layered 120GB Blu-ray disc, and if that's utilized with the PlayStation 5, I don't think file size is gonna be too much of an issue. But with games like Red Dead Redemption 2 being as big as they are, I think there are still gonna be some outliers next generation that are just still massive. I don't think 200GB games are that far out. I know that might sound a little bit crazy, but I really don't think it's far out of the realm of possibility. It looks like the third episode of The Walking Dead, the final season, could be out before 2018 ends. What'll definitely be out before 2018 ends is Subnautica. That's scheduled for a December release on the PlayStation 4, and Catherine Full Body Edition will be introducing a brand new difficulty that'll make the experience super easy and allow you to completely enjoy the story with the safety difficulty. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.